Up on UT Today, since flu season is not over yet, it's not too late to get the flu shot. For tips on how to stay healthy during this flu season, Yasmin Salimi has more information coming up on the show. University of Tennessee found a way to catch up with modern technology and connect with students. How does it work? We'll tell you later on. And will this be the first time in over 200 years that both male and female students share the same dorm room? All of this and more coming up soon on UT Today. UT's campus has been going through constant physical changes, but will the rules be changing as well? Nasrin Salimi has the story.
Gender-neutral housing isn't a term that has ever applied to the University of Tennessee, although that may be changing in the very near future. But some might wonder, what exactly does gender-neutral housing entail? UT student and SGA president Adam Maradi has that answer.
Gender-neutral housing is a simple way to say that this particular floor, this particular wing of a residence hall, you don't have to prescribe to a gender to live there.
And even though UT residential housing has been separated by gender for so long, SGA feels there are several very good reasons to make the change, one being the most important.
We had a lot of students come to us and say, I'm not sure if I'm going to be attending this school again simply because I don't know if there's safe and accepting housing for me on campus. And they only said that simply because every place on campus, as you probably know, is either male or female.
If UT were to bring gender-neutral housing to campus, they would make sure that not all buildings would be affected by it.
One misconception is that it would never blanket campus. This would only be an opt-in scenario. You would never be placed in gender-neutral housing without you desiring to be there. It would not be every residence hall. It would probably start out on a very small scale.
And with more dorms being built, it would give students a wider variety of choice, but only if you want that choice. Now, SGA doesn't know exactly when gender-neutral housing can take effect, but they're hoping it's sooner rather than later. Nasrin Salimi, UT Today.
For more information about gender-neutral housing, contact UT's SGA office at sga.utk.edu. Of all the issues on campus, transportation is one that most students feel strongly about. Yasmin Salimi has the story.
The increase in the number of tickets being handed out, it's no wonder that UT students have turned to the T as a mode of transportation. The T system is a daily bus route that is operated by the Knoxville Area Transit, but that is changing very soon because UT is switching to a different provider called First Transit. And with this switch may come some very interesting modifications.
As far as what they've been talking to the university about as far as changes, you know, they may change the name, they may change the routes, who knows, or they may not. They may keep it all consistent.
Many rumors are floating around campus about these changes and how they may mean less bus service for students.
I've heard there's like no more late night stuff and things like that. A lot of people that I've talked to are really bummed out about it. They don't think it's right. A lot of people like the late night tea, and yeah, no one's too happy about it.
Whatever the rumors may be, most students just want a safe and cheap way to travel around campus and Fort Sanders.
Students are financially savvy, and I think that they will sort of take a look at what's the cost of this bus pass versus what's the cost of a parking pass, and will make their decision based partially on that.
Whether it be walking, driving, or riding the bus, students will have to adjust to whatever changes may come. Yasmin Salimi, UT Today.
There will be an open house on the proposed CAT bus route today. For more information, visit catbus.com. It's that time of the year again. Students are catching the flu by the hundreds. Yasmin Salimi has tips on how to avoid the sickness.
Students at the University of Tennessee usually have to deal with school and a social life. But around this stormy time of year, sickness is often thrown into the routine. The University Student Health Center has people lining up to make appointments during this flu season, but that's much harder than you may think.
Classes start back in early spring or January. We see a big influx again, and then a large influx right after spring break.
Even though the Student Health Center rarely has unused appointments, they don't actually offer the flu vaccination.
From the standpoint of giving flu vaccinations here at the Student Health Center, we don't currently provide that service. We do have a program that we do in coordination with a local charitable organization and provide flu shots typically at the University Center.
Students are then forced to go to other clinics in order to get vaccinated. But is this distance the reason less and less people are getting the vaccine in the first place?
I know more people that didn't get it, and probably because you have to go out and get it, and you have to see like whose insurance covers what. I think if they did have it on campus, a lot more students would get it probably.
Receiving the vaccination is the most effective way of preventing the flu, but there are other medications, dietary supplements, and other techniques that are proven to be beneficial. One easy way to help yourself from catching the flu is by taking disinfecting wet wipes, wiping down your car, home, surfaces, and even doorknobs to keep those germs from spreading. Sanitizing and washing your hands is another key step in staying healthy during this time of year. For more helpful tips on avoiding this flu epidemic, visit the UT Student Health website. Yasmin Salimi, UT Today.
Flu shot appointments can be made at most pharmacies and clinics near campus. Cell phones aren't just phones anymore, they're smartphones. But what makes a smartphone smart? The answer? There's an app for that.
Hello?
Students and faculty at the University of Tennessee have designed an all-inclusive UT app as a way for users to receive information about anything from sports on campus to a guiding map to find your way around. Dr. Elizabeth Hendrickson, a journalism professor at the University of Tennessee, studies the future of media. She says for a professor, the college student may not be the easiest to reach through a school-centered app, even on a cell phone.
Say if an instructor wanted to contact you using an app, it better be really important information for it to break into whatever you're doing. If it can be done via email or something else, then I would do that. The UTK app, though, is helpful on a lot of levels. It's not how I would communicate with my students.
But that doesn't mean the app isn't helpful in other ways. Senior Will Hampton, who majors in economics, says the app works for him for lots of different reasons.
I guess a good example would be they have the news section. I don't ever pick up the Daily Beacon or anything, but with just a few clicks of the button, I can pick on the Daily Beacon and look at all the headlines. Things like maps, stuff from the library, all the events, all kind of consolidated onto one app. I think that's what really, particularly college students, are looking for.
And that's why it was created. Terry Nowell helped create the app as vice president of the Student Government Association at UT. Nowell says he wanted to get students information in the quickest way possible.
Students are carrying their laptops less and less, and more so they're carrying their tablets and their iPhones and their Android phones. And those phones with the application are able to bring students that information, which is what's key, is making sure the students have a convenient source of information.
And while it hasn't graduated to being the #1 way for professors to speak to students, the UT app serves as yet another convenient way to get information in this technology-filled world. For UT Today, I'm Sean Franklin.
You can grab the app by searching UTK in the App Store search box. It's available for iPhones, Androids, and Blackberries. In a country where junk food reigns supreme, UT student athletes are going against the grain by finding ways to lead a more nutritious life.
Athletes at the University of Tennessee to be the best in their sport is enormous, and the path to greatness starts with their diet. Allison Maurer is the sports dietitian at UT, and it is her job to make sure that the Tennessee athletes are getting faster, better, and stronger in a nutritious way.
Sometimes it's team meetings, sometimes it's individual one-on-one stuff, sometimes it's just stopping by a facility, making sure that they're supplied with all the things that they need. So it really just changes on a daily basis.
With all of the headlines in the news about athletes taking illegal substances, Maurer hopes to educate Tennessee athletes and steer them to healthy and legal alternatives.
Supplementation is a huge industry, and I'll always fight that battle. I'll always have the guys who want to get big quick and go to GNC and trust what the guy behind the counter is saying. But I also think that they're knowledgeable enough now to say, okay, he sold me that, but let me go just double check with Allison to make sure that I'm not doing something I shouldn't.
But healthy food and nutritious meals aren't only reserved for the athletes. All campus dining halls, like the one behind me in Presidential Courtyard, provide daily healthy meals for all students. New developments have recently been added to the dining halls in order to advance nutritious thinking. Director of Operations Mike Firth thinks that this will benefit the students greatly.
One of the key things we do is our signage at the stations that show the nutritional values of the food for their selections. I think that helps in their decision making. They're still college students. They still like to have non-nutritional items, but this helps drive them toward making the right choices.
Dietitians like Maurer and Reform Dining Halls are ensuring that student athletes are getting the nutrition they need. For UT Today, I'm Kelsey Lair.
For information on UT's nutritious meal options, go to campusdish.com and click on the Nutrition tab. Floods, snow, and ice have all hit the campus within the past few weeks. Some students even injured themselves during the time of severe weather.
Yasmin Salimi was on her way to eat with friends when she fell on some black ice that was left over from the winter storm. I slipped on it, kind of went flying through the air like Superman style and just landed on my face. The fall eventually landed her at the doctor. I woke up the next morning and I had a black eye, like bruising all the way down, swelling, and like all the, I guess, blood vessels on the left side of my eye right here had popped, so it was just like blood red. When severe weather strikes, UT's Director of Emergency Management, Brian Gard, coordinates with departments to keep students informed about the weather.
It takes almost the entire university to respond to. It's not one person's job, it's everybody's job.
If there is a possible weather threat, Gard keeps an eye on software programs as well as the National Weather Service.
A lot of it's monitoring, going up to it, and making sure that we sort of know what the situation is and how it will impact campus.
If Gard does find a dangerous situation heading to the UT campus, notifications are then sent out.
One way that UT delivers weather messages is by using these blue light systems.
With such a big campus, conditions can vary from place to place. The main goal is for people to make informed choices.
We're trying to deliver information and hoping that people will monitor and be educated enough to make good decisions for their own safety.
But Salimi thinks more UT notifications during times of severe weather could keep students safer. Maybe at least send alerts saying hey, there's still ice over here, or maybe it's all melted, or just watch your footing. I know it's kind of a common sense thing, but it's just kind of hard for students. What if I was on my way to class and I had fallen and people assume that it's melted and it's not. Students can also go to UT's safety website for weather updates. It's also a good resource for safety protocol. For UT Today, this is Rihanna Mortensen reporting.
UT's highest senior administrators make decisions on whether to cancel classes or not. But if you're a student and you can't make it because you live off campus, just let someone know. Thanks for watching UT Today. I'm Rihanna Mortensen. Have a good evening.